officials of the presidency, we are honored to be here this afternoon. I'm here with the headmaster, Mr. Fiemawhle. He is the headmaster, Mr. Amoah-Awuah. He is the chairman of the Old Boys Association and the author of the book, Mr. Jude Ontoyin. Is a twin, so the gentleman next to him is his twin brother. And then their mother is a single mother who took care of them. When they were 5.5 years, their father died. So their mother played a significant role in their upbringing. And at the book launch, we all gave her a lot of praises. The head boy, the prefect in Accra Academy is called the head boy. He is the head boy. This book epitomizes Accra Academy. As you all know, school started in the ghettos of Jamestown, Akotolante, and it was essentially a day school founded by 4 patriotic Ghanaians to offer secondary education to the less privileged in society. And they did achieve their purpose. And with the passage of time, the school moved to Bubuashi, East President State, where the school was put up infrastructure, and initially they were described as Michigan University because they claimed that the architecture was like University of Michigan, you know. So I also did my 6th form in Accra Academy. From Kwando Secondary School, I moved to Accra Academy. And Accra Academy is noted for producing a lot of important jurists in our country. Former Chief Justice Azukra was an old boy. And then Justice F.K. Apalu, former Chief Justice, also an old boy. And then apart from that, Justice V.C.R. Sikrab, Justice George Lamte, Justice Adade, and D.F. And of course, Peter Lajete was a distinguished member, and a lot of other distinguished lawyers and other statesmen. So we are here basically to present a copy of the book to His Excellency. I think Simon will do that at the appropriate time because I don't want to take the glory and the shine from the author. He will present the book and take a picture with His Excellency the President and the parents. But then we also use this opportunity to respectfully invite His Excellency, if time will permit, to the 90th celebrations of the school, which will come on the 29th of October this year. We are doing this in good time because we want that is the 90th, the climax of the 90th anniversary celebration. So we'll pass the invitation through the right channel, through the minister to His Excellency. But we just want to give the date here. The headmaster and the board will forward the data through the minister to His Excellency. Thank you very much.
Privileged to be part of this important program this afternoon, the presentation of the history of Accra from Jamestown to the present time, Bubuashi, to His Excellency the President. I must say that Accra, as my board chairman was making, has come a long way. And we are happy that today something has been written in the name of Accra that will serve as precedent to other institutions. Our youth, unfortunately, are not aware of the humble beginnings of these institutions. And so for that matter, they do not appreciate where they are now. I think some of these write-ups will help them to appreciate the humble beginnings of some of these institutions. That will also help them to sit up and appreciate the little contributions that government is making in their life. I've told them that several times. I'm sorry I'm deviating, but that is it. I want the presidency to hear that some of us did not get this opportunity, but we were able to make it. So they do not have any excuse why they must not make it in life. And this is the right opportunity for them. So I think books like this will also inspire them to sit up and learn. Mr. President, let me take this opportunity to thank you for the policy of the free SHS. Honestly, it has turned around many lives. We were just discussing a few of the benefits that is inuring to the students we teach and we lead now. And I will plead with you that whatever it takes to get the policy moving to be sustained, His Excellency, please, we want you to do whatever within your powers to help this policy be sustained. I must thank all of you for the brief comments I've made and the attention given to it. Thank you very much.
Okay, I want to thank you very much for accepting to receive this book. I'm truly honored and privileged. I also want to thank the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Adutwum, for this opportunity as well. Your Excellency, I have heard that some of our alumni, and we are called BLB, are of the view that I'm too young to write the history of the school. What is, however, interesting is that it took us 90 years to achieve this milestone. The co-founders themselves did not compile the history of the school, and neither did the past heads and administrations. Accra Academy has produced several luminaries in academia and other fields of endeavor, and any one of them could have at some point taken on that task of chronicling the history of the school. But for some reason, I think God assigned that task to me. That's how I see it. Your Excellency, it is worth noting that Accra Academy was founded by 4 young men below the age of 30 years. The youngest of them was 26 years old at the time he co-founded the school. That was Esther Nawulete. G.N. Alema and J.A. Hamado were the eldest of the 4 at 29 years of age, and K.G. Konwa was 27 years old at the time. Your Excellency, that is how young our co-founders were when they founded Accra Academy. And yet, they succeeded in establishing what we can all agree is one of the most celebrated secondary educational institutions in the country. That being said, there have been some humble attempts in the past. The earliest attempt I found was an 11-page article in our Golden Jubilee brochure, written by then Dr. Robert Adwo-Finney, and he's now Professor Robert Adwo-Finney. It was titled 50 Years of Accra Academy, the success story of a Ghanaian private educational enterprise. This was in 1981. The second attempt I found was in a foreword to our school hymn book that was written by Dr. K.G. Konwa. That was 3 years before his demise, and he wrote this when he was 89 years old at the time, one of the co-founders. Then again, there have been many instances when old boys have recounted some history of the school in the form of lectures or speeches during our commemorative events such as Founders Days and Speech Days. But be that as it may, it still took us 9 decades to produce a book dedicated to the history of our school. I want to skip some parts. Your Excellency, it is public knowledge that you taught at Accra Academy upon your return from Britain before proceeding to the University of Ghana. In writing this book, I interviewed one of the students you taught at Accra Academy, Jonathan Simmons, now settled in the United States of America. Perhaps his name rings a bell. He remembers that you once taught the class the British law of primogeniture, that is to say, how kings and queens are selected to the British throne. What is particularly interesting is that this student of yours is also your former schoolmate at the government junior boys school at Adabraka in the 1950s. You were then 2 years ahead of him. He has fond memories of you arriving at school in your father's official car and all the students rushing to welcome you to school. The headmaster then was Master Mensah. Among your teachers then were Mr. P.B. Kwate and Mrs. Ayenso. Perhaps these names bring back some memories. Your Excellency, Your connection with Accra Academy, however, precedes that of the early 1960s when you taught at the school. It may interest you to know that when you were about 12 years old, your father, Mr. Edward Akufo-Addo, was appointed to the first constituted Board of Governors of the Accra Academy. The board was confirmed on 8 December 1956, and it had its maiden meeting on 28 February 1957 under the chairmanship of Dr. K.G. Konwa. Your Excellency, earlier still, when you were about 7 years of age, Dr. J.B. Dankwa was appointed to serve on the first Board of Management of the Accra Academy. This was in 1951 under the chairmanship of Mr. James Geoffrey Tetelbaka Toto. So, Your Excellency, both served on our school board in times past and have contributed their quota to its success. And I want to clarify, so when the school was founded, it began with a board of control. When it was added to the assisted list, it changed to a board of management. And when it was designated under the education ordinance, a board of governors. So the transition.
Serious history.
Your Excellency, the history of the Accra Academy from Jamestown to Bubiashi is an informative, educative, and entertaining 726-page book. I like to think of it as both a history book and an album because it contains several pictures that present a visual history of the school. Your Excellency, at the book launch, the reviewer, Nana Jana Painting, mentioned that the book could also double as a weight lift for exercising. He disclosed that he measured it on a scale and it weighed 3 kilograms. Hence, readers could expand their biceps by lifting it up and down 10 times a day. Your Excellency, the book represents the founding tenets of the Accra Academy, namely, not for school, but for life, not for self, but for others. I thank you very much for accepting my request to present it to you. Please know that I am grateful. Accra, Bello.
House to say that really I'm overwhelmed by this. This is an excellent initiative. Unfortunately, we still don't do enough of our own history. So still up till today, much of the history of Ghana has been written by others and not by ourselves. So to see this endeavor succeed and come in this way, for me is very, very heartening and very encouraging. I want to congratulate you very, very, very strongly on this effort. And I hope it's not going to be in vain. In the end, a lot of people buy it and at least you make some money out of it as well. But whatever be the case, I think it's an excellent initiative. Especially a school that is rightly acclaimed as one of the best schools in our country. It came from, as you say, very, very humble origins and has grown to be a major institution in the educational system of the country. It's heartwarming that somebody could have that degree of attachment and spend so much time and energy putting this together. I'm not surprised that they were involved in the school. K.G. Konwa was a good friend. And it's in fact because of him that I ended up teaching there when I came back from England and I had some time to spare. Alute Konwa, his younger brother, was then headmaster of Accra Academy. Yeah, and it is through that friendship. That's how I came to teach at Accra Academy. Yeah. Headmaster has put the icing on the cake by the strong advocacy of the free SHS system that we have in the country today. And I'm very happy because every now and then I'm surprised to hear that there are elements within the educational structure and chairs and places who sometimes have reservations about the policy or are opposed to it. I don't know to what extent you hear it. It's difficult to have it verified because it's rare if the people actually come out, but you hear it. But so to have the headmaster of the school as important as Accra Academy so forcefully advocating, I think the merits of it are obvious. And I am always a big believer, and this is why I think history is so important, in learning from other people's history. And you look at the countries in the world that have gone through this, and you see where they are. There must be a connection. America was the very first country in the world to have a free secondary school system. We call it high school there, which was at the federal level, state level, free. It won't prevent them from having private schools as well. Yes, I mean, it's a free country, as you know, you could do that. But it meant that every young American, no matter their circumstance, could go to school if he so chose or she so chose. And I think the result of what it has done for America are there for all of us to see. And I'm thinking that, God willing, we will transform our own destiny with this initiative, and that every young Ghanaian will have access to schooling at the secondary level. And from there, that becomes the platform on which we build the rest. So it's good to have you as a strong advocate. So thank you very much for coming. You've honored me by this presentation, and it's something that I'll treasure very much. Thank you. And your excellent mother, who obviously has been a big source of inspiration and encouragement. Madam Aiko, well done, well done, well done. All right. So, Judge, thank you so much for coming.
Official invitation for the native.
I'll be lucky. To pass through the minister. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
But this is the minister who's doing such a yeoman's work in the area of educational reform in the country. He was the deputy to Prempe when the senior high school thing, and then since then, the last 2 years, has been in charge. And he lives and dreams education. That's all he talks about.
And I know the school in Los Angeles.
I went there too.
Yes. I'm not surprised he's an advocate of these free SHS. Yes.
Who took you there?
We went on the judicial service program,
right?
And we were, if you remember, we visited the school. Right? I never knew he was going to become a politician in Ghana.
I brought him. After I've been to visit the school. I was on a private visit to Los Angeles, and somebody told me about this Ghanaian who had this big school and was doing so well and this and that. I said, well, I want to go and see it. And when I went, I saw what was going on. So I told him, I said, well, if God willing, one day I succeed, you come and help me.
He asked me to tell you more about it. I said, then I'll talk to you later. I said, no. I said, would you consider coming back to
Thank you.
So thank you so much for coming.